Hey everyone, I am Ryan, and I'm joined by Bren today.
Hello.
And we are going to do what I'm calling a non-spoiler time capsule for the Bleach anime, because about 4 months ago now, the Bleach anime was announced to finally be returning after it ended 8 years ago, 2012.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's finally coming back for the final arc. This is going to be completely non-spoiler because I've read the manga, but Bren has not read the manga, so he doesn't know anything about what the anime will be about or the new arc. And I totally do. I know everything. So this is just going to be a fun little podcast, little time capsule we do where we just hear Bren's thoughts on it, because we both watched the anime. It's funny how long ago it's been for me now of when I started watching Bleach. It's like that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, saying that now, it's like, obviously Bleach started in 2004, the anime. So that's not actually that long ago, because a lot of other people, I'm sure, actually watched it, over years and years.
When it came out, or
Yeah.
even when it ended by 2012.
But for me, that feels like a long time ago. Yeah, because when Bleach started the anime, I was 6. So yeah.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a while ago.
Yeah, so yeah, this is gonna be just hearing Bren's thoughts. I'm not gonna spoil anything. The only two things I'm only gonna say the name of the arc, and just the fact. I mean, this is like public stuff that they've said. I'm gonna spoil even less than they've officially said. Because if you've watched the trailer for the anime return, don't, because it's so many spoilers. Don't watch it at all. It's so funny how many spoilers are in that. But all I'm going to say is the name of the arc, and then just that it is the final arc. It's the last arc they're adapting finally, and then that's the end. That's the end of Bleach. So yeah, no spoilers other than that. And yeah, there's going to be just like Bren's thoughts on like his expectations, I guess. Yeah, so I didn't say it, but the name of the arc, I did tell you before we started recording, the 1,000-Year Blood War. So that's basically all you have to go off of what you expect, because they don't really tease anything in the anime of like what to come, or like, they don't leave you with anything. Basically, it's just kind of like Ichigo has his powers back, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the question I was gonna start with though is what'd you think of the ending? Like Bleach already had just the anime, like how of ending just on the Fullbringer arc. Like, do you think it even needs a final arc? Are you like, oh, I didn't even need to think about that the manga? I mean, I mentioned it all the time because I was like, oh, I want the anime to come back. But it's like, did you even think like, oh, there needs to be another arc? Or are you like, oh, there could be way more arcs? It could still be, like what do you think of just it ending there on the Fullbringer arc?
My first impression was that, oh, there was going to be another one, and then when it was like, oh, that's the end, I was like, oh, I wouldn't say it's a bad ending. I guess in some way you could call it a decent or a good ending, but after watching it and like the way the Fullbringer arc like came to a resolution and ended, as a viewer, I was like, oh, they're totally going to do something after this, just because it felt like a stepping stone in every kind of way.
Yeah. It's funny because that's how the anime, like, it's funny. It's to think about, because it's like it makes way more sense almost to just if they ended the anime after the defeat of Aizen.
Right. That was like a lot more of a build.
That's like a conclusion.
Yes.
This resolution. Is like the Fullbringer arc is like, all right, now the story's actually not over yet. Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny if it ended with Aizen, then it's almost like, oh wait, that wasn't the end of the story. Ichigo loses his powers. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a sad ending. It's very abrupt.
But like,
too.
You knew that was coming.
I mean,
you
maybe.
knew.
Yeah.
I mean that was like, there is expectation of fallout.
Yeah.
Of you lose your powers, somebody dies along the way. There's loss, there's sacrifice.
Yeah, it feels more like because that's the end of the arc.
Right.
Aizen, they because that's the whole thing with Aizen is that, oh, actually, the stuff with Rukia and the reason Ichigo even has powers is kind of because of Aizen. He orchestrated everything, so it's like that's kind of the end of like that story so far.
Yeah,
So
if it ended there, I would have been like, oh, okay. Yeah, that
and
works.
then it's almost like, oh, it's finally coming back. It's like, does it need to come back? Then it's almost like, I guess it can come back.
It can't.
It feels more like a sequel almost.
It feels more. Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
It's funny that they ended with the Fullbringer arc because it's like, I think.
Yeah, it's like this nice, clean bow on top. You're done. You're fine. Oh, here's like this little arc where.
But also, he gets his powers back.
Yeah,
it's very short and it's just like new stuff.
Yeah, it's like you finish a race and then they say, "Oh, hey, here's like the next water break point." You know what I mean? So you can refuel, and you're like, "Wait, what? I thought I just finished. Why are we doing? We're starting another race? Yeah, but you just get to this point, and then we'll come back here years later.
Who knows when?
Or
it's gonna be
tomorrow.
It's gonna be 9 years though.
Yeah, that's what it kind of started. Like we started another race or something, and then you only did the first part, and you're gonna come back later. So yeah, the way it was broken up in terms of, I guess you say the huge hiatus, does feel a little, like, I don't think there's any, I can't think of any good words, but like clunky or weird or off. It's just kind of like a very non-fluid, non-smooth connection between, I don't know, arcs or big points in Bleach.
I don't want to get this wrong. I should have looked this up beforehand, but I do remember reading, I think, an interview with the people who worked on the anime, and they just said they wanted to not end at the Aizen arc because it like wasn't that happy of an end, or like it wasn't that like hopeful, just kind of like ends, and so that's why they wanted to do the Fullbring arc, because I think from what I remember, that the Fullbring arc, like where the anime ends, they were only like a few weeks behind like where the manga was. Like they were basically caught up. So like if they were to continue the anime, they would have had to do like another giant filler arc, and then that's like kind of gets into the stuff of like why it didn't continue, is because they would just have to do a lot more filler, and I think they just didn't want to. I think that's like the main reason it didn't continue.
And that's totally fine. Again, there's a lot more details that go into production and actually being able to, like you're saying, if you're so close to the actual manga, there's a lot more that goes into than just, oh, what's the best ending in terms of story wise. And like I said, I don't think it's bad. I think it feels a little weird, but that makes total sense to me. I'm not here like, hey, this is so bad and there's no excuse. It's like, oh, okay. I mean,
it kind of works, because we were saying is that it kind of works because it isn't just like, oh, this conclusion, oh, Bleach is coming back, with the Fullbringer, if you stopped before the Fullbringer arc. But now when you end with the Fullbringer arc, it's like, okay, I guess like, I mean, it's funny the way it ends. We just rewatched the last episode, and it is very much like, they don't leave it on a cliffhanger, which is funny because it's like, why wouldn't you? But like, they didn't know when they were coming back, and so they just kind of end it. It's just Ichigo, and they kind of just end the Fullbring arc, and it like that doesn't like flow into like the next story. It doesn't. It's not just like one to the next. That's a pretty clean break, and so it's at least like ending there. I do get it, because it's like there can like more. If it was to come back, if you don't know anything about the manga, it coming back isn't that weird. It doesn't feel as like forced.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, okay, that makes sense. Almost.
Yeah, again, it's with the. I don't know, I was always under the impression that Bleach, like there was a lot more to Bleach. I knew that the manga had a lot more story and things like that. So as far as content wise, I knew there was always more out there. For me, it was always a question: will Bleach come back and do more of the anime so that you actually get to watch that content? And so, yeah, I think the Fullbringer arc was fine in terms of. It was enough of it feels like an end, right? There's not like this huge cliffhanger where you're like,
just like kind of back to the status quo.
Yeah, they just showed up at the office one day and they said, hey, we're done making Bleach, and they were completely expecting to flesh out the rest of the story or arc or something. it ends like, and that makes sense. But I also think they leave enough of a door open that you go, oh, okay, yeah, there's a lot more content with the manga, and there should be more anime. So, yeah, I think I thought it was fine.
Yeah, you know, it's you that's kind of like my second question that I basically have is just it's kind of the same as the first one, was just the feeling of like just the Fullbring arc specifically as an ending. And yeah, so following that, what do you think ending there? What things like were you maybe expecting to happen but like didn't happen as like an end? Like what did it like leave you? Yeah, like what points did you feel like were unresolved? Did you feel like anything was unresolved, or like, wow, I can't believe like this character never had a big moment, or like we never addressed this, or like was there anything like, oh wow, I'm surprised they didn't do that, like ending on the Fullbring arc? Like, did it feel unfinished? Do like parts of it feel unfinished in any way, or
not in terms of the Fullbringers? My questions have always been stemmed towards
well, yeah, not just the Fullbringers, like
the
anything.
Soul Society and like the captains and the lieutenants and things like that. That because you do get to see a lot more of that in terms of, you know, you see a good amount of captains and lieutenants, especially in the last couple episodes, as they're like, oh hey, we're monitoring Ichigo, and you know, we're gonna do this or we're gonna do that, and you know, you see their thinking process about what kind of decisions they're gonna make in terms of what they're gonna do with Ichigo. And I've always been like, hey, these captains are cool, or even with like all the visors becoming captains again, you're like, oh well,
I know they just throw that in there at the end.
Yeah,
like that's almost like the most like there's gonna be more story. I mean,
that's
not,
to me why I'm
not.
like, I want to know more about what the history was, and then how they exited, and then how they came back, and then what's the stigma behind them now? Are they still visors? Like, what's the whole interconnected?
Yeah, we get the flashback with, you know, them and like how they were, you know, how they
knew
like,
they were a part of.
They were hollows, blah blah blah. Or they had hollow powers, but we didn't, you know, they didn't know that Aizen was involved in any of that, you know. So we don't like see, you know, we don't see any conversations after that because Aizen's defeated, and then we see this, you know, like there's no in between there.
So that's what I want to know more about. I just want to know more about the structure of the Soul Society, the captains, how they got there, the different ranks. I'm always really interested in that whole world construction, I guess, of the Soul Society, and then how it came about to be, as well as like how it's run and the positions, things like that. That's what I find a lot of fun and really interesting to like figure out and learn more about. And at the, you know, even in the last episode, which we rewatched again today, more so for me, but you know, you're looking at all these different captains. I'm like, oh, okay, he was visored. Okay. Well, what about like Kisuke? And then I actually want to know more about Kisuke in terms of his role and then what he's doing now. It's just cool to learn all that backstory. I think these are really, really cool characters, and you know, especially when you have like these really powerful captains, and then comparing them to Ichigo, and then what the villain is. It's cool to see the history behind like the different squads and the leadership, and then the mentalities and the powers, because it's, I mean, that's what we watch Bleach for, is, you know, the action scenes. So.
Yeah, come for the Bankais.
Yeah, so that's
so I guess I kind of skipped over one of my points, which is just did you have any like disappointments? But that's kind of basically what I was saying before, is like, did you think anything could have been, you know, expanded on, or like were you surprised that like they didn't do? You kind of talked about, just like the stuff of you know, knowing more about the characters would be fun. Yeah, do you think, I guess, do you think there's like anything that you're expecting for like, you know, the final arc of Bleach? Is there any, you know, specific just like story, you know, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, it's hard to speculate, but it's like, is there anything, you know, that you'd like maybe like to see happen, or just like with a specific character being focused on, or you know, some new path, you know, because this is going to be a new, you know, a completely new arc, and Bleach only really has 5 arcs and 4 of them have been animated, and most of it is about Aizen. So it's like, where does the story go from here?
Exactly. I think that's the biggest thing is, okay, what are you going to establish as the point of conflict, or who's going to be the villain? I think that's going to be, I don't think it's going to be the most important thing, because it's going to be hard to, how do you follow Aizen?
Right? How do you follow Aizen as an antagonist?
Right. I don't think you really can. So maybe they do. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't, and that's kind of the whole point. Is just to hear someone who's really naive and hasn't read the manga yet. But I don't think you have to do a villain. I think if you have a very I mean, and yes, the 1,000-year bloody war, whatever.
the 1,000-year blood war. Yeah.
Blood war. If there is a conflict that is...
I know, it's funny. We haven't really talked about the name of, like, what do you even think about that name of, like, what do you think that... I mean, it kind of implies a war.
Right.
Which is like, okay.
Yeah, and, not to jump too far into, like, the meaning of that title of the arc. I'm more going off of, okay, just in general, if you didn't even know what was going to happen next, or know any of the titles of the arcs or anything like that, how would you go about it?
Yeah, just
and I was thinking, okay, if you don't follow with a central villain, you have to follow with a very clear-cut,
what's the problem?
Established conflict. Yeah,
what's
your
the
problem
conflict
here?
Yeah.
Of, okay, is this something that is generations deep, 1,000 years? Is this something that is, what makes this conflict or this problem so big? Why do people care about it so much? Is it something that is, it's built around a group of people or a single person, or just like against a world type of deal? Are hollows like just absolutely unleashed, or is there going to be someone who you're going to be like rooting against type of deal? And I don't really have any. Your question was like stuff like unresolved from that, or what am I looking forward? What do I need from?
Yeah, what did I ask? It was just like I guess just like, what are you expecting now? We're just like, what are you expecting from, like, what could you see happening, or what would you want to see in, like, a new arc? Because not only is this like a brand new arc, which getting away from Aizen and stuff, but it's also, not only is it a new arc, it's the last arc. This is it. Once this is done, like, the manga of Bleach ended, I think, in 2016, so like 4 years ago now. So 4 years after the anime ended. So yeah, that's basically how long it went on for. 200 chapters. I guess that's not really a spoiler, because that's how long it went on for, a chapter a week. So 200 chapters, and that, I guess, I don't really consider this a spoiler. It's because I guess it's kind of obvious when you look at it like that. Is if you look at the Arrancar arc and just how many chapters that was, it's it's not as long as the Arrancar arc. Yeah. But it's longer than, like, any of the other arcs. It's longer than the Soul, when they go to the Soul Society and stuff. So this is a really long arc, and it's the last arc. This is how Bleach
fitting.
ends.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
So and I think that there doesn't really need to be whole, like, huge. No, I want to, because depending on,
like, how do you end a story that's like so much of it is about Aizen, which is funny.
You're ending it like
and then you kind of have this ending with Ichigo losing his powers, and then you do the Fullbringer arc, and then it's like, okay, but now there's like another, like, how do you end Bleach, basically?
I wouldn't look at it of how you end Bleach.
Or what's the final big thing?
If I was going into this, I'd be like, okay, how can I get the most out of Bleach? Like, Bleach is an established, it's a big shonen, people love it. If I get to this point and I'm like thinking, oh, what do I do next with this show or with this anime manga? I'd be like, okay, how can I get the most out of it in terms of characters, story? How can the people reading or watching this enjoy this to the fullest extent? And that would just be, characters unlocking new powers, having great fights.
Everyone gets a bunk.
Everyone, just stuff like, really, like, diving deep into lore, or having awesome action scenes. And and then worry about having, and then putting a bow on it at the end after you've really just done time to be like, oh, you know, Captain Yamamoto's story, and what is his role in, you know, does he get like emotionally attached, or what's his role? And then, you know, we want to see his powers again, and then has he learned something new since Aizen? You know, just really like taking like the identity of a character and just kind of like pushing the envelope and pushing it to the max of like, oh, what can we do with it? And use that to drive action scenes and flashbacks. And I think if they do that and then kind of put a bow on it at the end, okay, that works for me. And, you know, maybe watching it, I will completely disagree with myself. But that's where I would start, is just having fun with the characters and the action scenes.
Just go all out.
Just go for it.
Like,
yeah.
this is it.
Yeah. You know, I think you can kind of figure out how to have a resolution by the end. I don't think because Aizen was already just this, you know,
Aizen's like
great story, great villain. I guess my point is after that, don't feel like you have to follow up with the same kind of stuff. You know,
another big unstoppable bad guy who betrays everyone. Like what would an Aizen copy be?
You totally can, as long as you don't make it feel like it's just a complete rerun.
Kenpachi betrays everybody and then gets a Hogyoku.
Right.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I would not. But yeah, as long as it's not something like that,
to think
I'm
of
fine.
Kenpachi giving this long speech about how much better he is than everyone else. It's so funny to me. So now from plot to characters, you know, you kind of talked about Yamamoto, you mentioned him. But yeah, any characters you just want to see focused on, or like, you know, there are characters who have bankais that we haven't seen. Even stuff like that. You know, anything specific like that.
Easy. And I've always said this. Ishin. I just want to see like Ichigo's dad. Like, okay, he was captain. He was in the Soul Set.
Ishin
like,
probably has a bankai. He was a captain.
Oh, I want to see.
I think he definitely has a
fight
bankai.
once, and it's
we saw him fight once.
And it was
we saw him
super
fight
cool.
twice.
And you're like, oh my gosh, this guy is awesome. I want to see this. That's what I mean. First and foremost, because my whole time watching it, this is not even looking back. This is like remembering my experiences through it. I always wanted to see more of him, and that's what I want to see. These characters that they're kind of like, they kind of allude to and give you little like sneak peeks into who they are and their powers and stuff like that. I want to see those.
Kisuke says he's got that line of just like, oh, my bankai, I'm not a good practice.
Exactly.
I'm not a good sparring mate. My bankai's too powerful.
That's what I want to see. I want to see all those things that they hint at.
Or he doesn't say that. He just said my bankai's not good for training.
Right. I want to see those that were all just like, you got the iceberg tip. Show me the entire iceberg. Give me all the deets.
Shunsui is another one who's like when fighting Stark, the number one Espada with the guns. He's just like, you know, I guess I got to use my bankai now. We don't see it.
Yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. As long as I get to see that in this final arc, I think I will be happy. Because those were the biggest things. When it ended, I was like, oh, I never got to see that.
We never saw Aizen's bankai. He never used a bankai. He goes straight from his Shikai and then just goes with the Hogyoku powers. He never uses a bankai. He didn't die, so, you know.
He what?
He didn't die, so you never know.
Oh.
Do you remember at the end of the Aizen stuff? They just, because they don't kill him. Kisuke seals him, and then you see him like being like like strapped in the chair, and then that's it. I mean, I don't want to imply that we'll, you know,
that'd be interesting.
Do anything. I don't want to imply anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Aizen's going to be involved. But he didn't die. I'm just saying he didn't die. We never saw his bankai. You know, I'm just reminding you.
Yeah. No, that's like, who knows?
Who knows what happened? I'm not going to hint at anything.
Yeah, and then some more of the Vizards, like Kensei and Shinji, and just a little bit more into them.
Yeah, seeing them.
I think that'd be fun, just seeing their powers.
We saw Kensei's bankai for like a minute, and then we don't see any other bankais.
So just more stuff into like past, present, how they got there, fill it in. I love the lore and the story behind characters and worlds and stuff like that. So finding more about backgrounds and I don't know, I guess personalities and things like that is really fun for me. So that's what I would love to look forward to.
Yeah, is there any? Yeah, I guess you said you mentioned. Oh yeah, you mentioned Ichigo's dad. Yeah, is there any? Yeah, like Ichigo's obviously the protagonist. That'd be weird if that changed for the final arc. But like, is there like a specific couple characters you'd like to see like focus on specifically, or do you think it will be just as is like Ichigo and then his friends, or like is there a specific thing or a specific character, or like I don't know, something you'd like to see happen? I guess I know I'm kind of just saying like the same thing over and over again, but
it's
I want to get as much as I can out of you before you are seeing it. Give me all of your predictions.
I'll say this about Ichigo. I really want to see his character stay and really kind of dominate, and when I say Ichigo's character, I mean like
the focus to be on him still.
Not so much. I want to see, like in the last episode when he just walks up to Yamamoto and he's like, "Yeah, I want to take the body back to the world of the living."
All right, see ya.
Yeah, he's like, "All right, see ya." I'm just like, yeah, that's the kind of character that I want to see Ichigo stay like that. I think I really enjoy that part of Ichigo's character. That's what I'm talking like.
Yeah.
Ichigo as a person, his personality, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to stay, and I love that driving force in terms of just the interactions he has with other people. I think it's a lot of fun to watch. It's funny, and to me, and I think that's going to be important. That kind of character is going to be important for ending everything and putting a bow on it, because you could get super sappy and like all the feels, but I think that's less important.
Yeah, what do you think the tone's gonna be like? It's just gonna actions, same old is it gonna be? They kind of
it's
during the Fullbring arc they kind of did like
a
mystery kind of thing. They like slowed down the pace a little bit. The Fullbring arc was a little different.
Yeah, I don't really have because it's been so long, I feel like you can do whatever you want at this time.
Mm-hmm.
You really,
it's just kind of like
people are going to rewatch and they're going to. But yes, because it's been so long, it is so open. People, I don't know, maybe not. I'm sure there's at least a few others like me who haven't watched the whole thing since you watched it the first time. And,
yeah, there's probably a lot. Yeah,
it's been a while. Cool. Like I said, I don't really have any.
Yeah, they don't leave it on
I just want to see
You're not
some
like
more
waiting for like, oh, I can't believe they didn't do this.
I don't.
Or like, I want to just see this finally happen. They teased it so long ago.
For me, the only thing I feel about that is certain characters and like their powers and backstories.
Yeah.
Kisuke, Ishin, maybe some of the Visor characters.
They leave so many things just kind of like untouched.
Right. I want to see more about that, because it also ties about like, okay, how did Ichigo become or be in the situation he was? How long was he known about? And then obviously he's a substitute Soul Reaper for a reason and came into that role. But aside from that, I don't. In terms of story and worlds and stuff like that, I don't really think I need to see anything, and that kind of excites me for the reason that, hey, just show me what you got. Let me enjoy the show.
Yeah, and new story. Let's go.
New story. Let's go. I'm on board. I'll be there. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna enjoy it, and let me see some cool Bankais and some characters that I think are really cool. Give me some more of their time. Make them big characters. I want to see Ishin be more of a character. I want to see Kisuke come back and stay around. I want to see Ukitake. Like, I don't know why he was shown so much in the last episode.
He wasn't shown that much. I mean,
he was shown more than any other captain.
They have the part where he is he's like still sick with that illness they never talk about.
Right, but then they come back to him
and they kind of focus that he's like not there.
Right, but like even afterwards they talk about how young people grow and like old timers and it takes them a while to understand how fast young people grow. It's like, okay, not that it doesn't have to have any meaning whatsoever.
End, yeah.
But I'd like to see a little bit more. I think he's a cool character. I want to see a little bit more of him. That's all. So, but as for everything else,
yeah, I mean, my last question is very similar to all the other ones, but it's just what could they do to make the final arc your favorite arc of like, oh wow, like Bleach is Bleach is good. I like Bleach. But like that last arc when it came back, wow, like this is like really, really good. Like that's like easily the best part of Bleach. You know, it's like I would
Yeah.
recommend people watch Bleach just to get to that part. You know, like what could they do? Is there anything of like, wow, like this was amazing. Like this blew
That's a
me
good
away.
question.
Because you know what is your favorite arc, like
think,
right now?
I think they have to. My favorite what?
I was just gonna say, well, what like as of right now, like what's your favorite part of the Bleach anime? Like what just overall? Like what was your favorite part of the anime?
Ooh,
Like what do they have to top? You know, like what can they do then?
it's got to be the build up of like the world of captains and
Like going to the Soul Society
like
for the
going
first
to the
time.
Soul Society and Ichigo has to battle. What's Rukia's brother's name?
Byakuya.
Byakuya. Like, oh, if you can top that, just like Senbo and Zakuda, yeah, like that's what you're gonna have to top for me because that is a really cool character getting a really cool Bankai and having an awesome fight with Ichigo. So
Yeah, I kind of cut you off. Yeah, so yeah, what could they do now? What could they do to be like, wow, that like
let me
blew me
see
away?
Kisuke and Ishin's
They fight each
Bankai.
other.
No, but yeah. I feel like the conflict is going to have to be very established and very good. And then I want to see those characters a lot more and some really cool fighting scenes. I want to see a lot of like backstory put in. And I mean, I think those are the biggest things for me. As long as I get those, I think I'll be. And actually, I'd like to see a little bit of like introductions to new characters. I think you're gonna have to do that in a way that doesn't.
Yeah, do you think there'll be like a lot of new characters and new like how much new stuff do you think there's gonna be? Because
I feel like there has to be. I feel like there absolutely has to be.
You know, could just be a flashback, the whole thing. You know, who knows?
Oh, true.
Like I'm just throwing.
I think
stuff
there's
out there.
a good way of introducing new characters. What I love is introducing new characters that have old ties with the other characters that you know.
So it's like, this is Kisuke's brother, who we all thought was dead.
Exactly. Seeing stuff like that, I think would be really good. I don't know if that actually happens, but things like that.
I'm just.
But you know,
I'm putting my mindset on of just I haven't even seen it.
You know, like you show up and like this lieutenant's dead and someone else took their place, and then they've been a sixth seed in this squad and then moved up through this combat ritual, and then like here's how this happened, but now they have, you know, they're this other captain's cousin. I don't know, just some kind of like getting a new flavor and new characters that like still tie into all of the stuff that all the characters that I've come to love through Bleach. And I know there's a bunch, and there's no way to, you know, just keep everybody happy because you have to end it, and you can't just show character after character. You have to drive the plot, and it's all about Ichigo. I get that. But, you know, okay, I want to see some sort of memorial to Gin in a way that's like, oh, maybe his brother or something is like a Soul Reaper, or they discover more of like his plot on how he did what he did, you know, to be with Aizen, but yet like I think that would be really cool, paying homage to characters like Gin that were really cool. I don't think you need to bring up the conflict that was like, or like the problem, like Tozen's problem of. I don't think
like his like the reason he defected or like he went with Aizen.
I don't think you need to get back to the whole defective reasons, but like, you know, pay homage to the characters that, you know, that made decisions that made them heroes, or like how, you know, good Soul Reapers, however you want to put it. So I love it when new things tie into like the bread and butter of what makes you love something. So if I get to see that, I think I'll be happy.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, yeah, this has been fun for me. This is just like, I can't, because it's like I want to just talk about this stuff, you know, just all the time, but it was like, you know, the anime wasn't coming back, so I was always just like, what's the point? It's not even gonna come back.
What's the point? Yeah.
But it's like, oh, now it's coming back. I'm so happy. This has been so much fun for me. I'm just sitting. I don't want to say anything, but this is just making me so happy. So they officially have not given a release date because all they said was they just want to make it really good. They're not going to give a release date.
That's fine.
It's gonna come when it happens.
Sure.
This announcement came for an event that was celebrating Bleach's 20th anniversary in March. But Bleach's, like, that was when the event was in March. But Bleach's 20th anniversary isn't actually until August 2021. That's when the actual 20th anniversary is.
Oh.
So, you know, it's not that... I don't think it'd be that unreasonable to expect it to happen by then, you know? Because it's like if they announced it now, and they're celebrating the 20th anniversary, they're talking about that, but the 20th anniversary is a year and a half away.
That's funny.
You know, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect the anime to happen sometime next year. Maybe by August.
Be a good timetable.
Maybe by August. I think
I feel like that gives them a lot of time, and also I don't think anybody expects them to rush anything. So.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. Is there anything else? Anything else you want to throw in this time capsule just to watch it way later and laugh at yourself? Just be like, wow, I can't believe any random just prediction. You just want to be like, I think you got to give me like at least a couple. I'm just like, I think this very specifically is going to happen with this character or something. just to have here for our amusement.
Ichigo changes his hair color. I don't know.
Ichigo finally dyes.
Not
his
that
hair.
I would want him to do, but maybe he gets like a blonde streak.
He needs to go. He needs to go incognito, and grows it out and dyes it white. Dyes it white, but cuts it like Gein's hair to look like Gein. And
no, that's it. I don't want to make any more predictions just yet. Maybe we'll do another time capsule when they announce the air
like the
date
release
or
date.
something. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I hope to. I mean, I'd love to do. You know, we'll see. But I think it'd be fun to even do like a weekly, like after every episode, or maybe not every episode, but every like 3 or 4 or however when it comes out. After a few episodes, just do like an episode review podcast. I think that'd be fun.
After seeing some episodes, I'll probably make some predictions too.
Well, that'd be definitely fun to watch it, you know, weekly and do this because you know I do know what's gonna happen and you don't, so that'd be fun to that'd be fun to do. So maybe we'll do that.
This is fun. No, we'll definitely do that. I think.
Yeah, I mean,
This is just the beginning. Okay, this is just the beginning.
I've probably mentioned this on other videos, but yeah, Bleach is. I can mention this at the beginning. Bleach is like one of my favorite anime, like if not
I'd
my
say one of
like,
2. It's your top 2.
What's the other one?
Steins Gate.
I do like Steins Gate, yeah. I don't know.
Those
I don't
are
know
your
how.
Top 2. I don't think anything else beats those.
Yeah.
At least from what I've seen.
I don't know. I don't know how I would rank my top right now.
Do you know mine?
I mean, it changed. What are yours?
Quiz,
no,
quiz.
wait. What? Psychopaths.
Yeah,
and
season 1.
Psychopaths and something else. And I mean, I don't know. You like Initial D, and you really like Naruto, but you haven't even finished Naruto.
Yeah, that's true. I really like Naruto.
I mean, hopefully we'll do a video on Naruto at some point because I'm catching up to Naruto where Bren is. I think that'd be fun if we do a video on Naruto because I'm just like on the ending of Naruto because we neither of us have finished it. But I'm catching up to where Bren is.
We're getting there. Oh, we'll do more fun stuff with that too.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess that's about it. Thanks everyone for listening. This was fun for me, and me too. I can't wait for the anime to actually come back and to watch it.
Yeah, me too.
It'll be fun. I'm not gonna infer. I don't want to tease anything. I just want to. The best way to go into it is knowing. I think as little as possible. Thanks for watching or listening. This is a YouTube video. You watched a static image and us talking.
It's true, but mostly listened.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll upload maybe more in the future. Do more, because I know we don't do a lot. But maybe, hopefully, at least when the Bleach anime comes back, we'll probably do a few more.
Oh,
at least.
Oh, I'm sure. We have plans to do
hopefully
some more stuff.
We can do some more. Yeah. So, thanks for watching / listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Woohoo! Bye, guys.